The riots began because the stores could not meet the demand of Sutter Kane's novel, In the Mouth of Madness.
Kane disappeared 2 months ago without a trace.
Kane's writing has been known to have an effect on his readers.
The whole thing has been staged.
You just get out.
This is not reality.
John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness.
Welcome to Fanboy and the Snob. I'm Chad. That's Chris. And today we have Andrew, and he watched In the Mouth of Madness with us. John Carpenter's 1994 film.
Often forgotten 1994 horror classic.
I've never heard of it.
Exactly. You're not supposed to. It's one of those movies.
Now, why does he look so happy?
Why does Sam Neill look like he's having a good time?
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So why did we pick this movie on our Halloween month?
It's probably my, like, next to The Thing, it's probably my favorite horror movie.
Really?
Whoa.
You hold up that high of esteem?
I love this movie. I think the concept is incredibly interesting. I read all of H.P. Lovecraft's books, so this is right up my alley.
I honestly, I know you don't like remakes, but I honestly think if they made this into a TV show with this idea, so you can slow build the madness going. I know you hate turning everything into TV shows.
Didn't we get Jordan Peele directing an H.P. Lovecraft show, and it was just like white people are evil and black people are good, and like Cthulhu was in for 30 seconds.
I don't know. I stopped watching it.
Yeah, Lovecraft Town. Yeah, that's why we don't make fucking TV shows about Lovecraft shit. It's either a book or a 90-minute movie or a 2-hour movie.
I don't know. Have you ever seen The Strain?
Yeah, but was that like this? Could
be.
But it isn't.
I like horror TV shows.
I hate horror in general. That's why I think I like this movie. This movie is different.
This is more psychological.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, you're not big into the slasher, like all
butcher
that stuff.
Bullshit, gore. Yeah, I'd rather watch a man scream on a bus after everything turned blue.
Andrew,
what do you think, man?
I'm with Chris. I'm not crazy about horror movies, but this was pretty good. I really was a whole. It's kind of a mind fuck. The entire movie. I will say there were 2 scenes that got me to jump. And it was the one where his partner, the girl, was walking into the writer's office and the hand came down. I wasn't like there hadn't been like something to make you jump for a while. Like the first few ones at the beginning of the movie didn't get me, but that one did because it had been such a long time since the last one.
It's almost like Carpenter knows how to scare the shit out of you. I fucking like, I don't know, like, so the movie's about a guy who investigates insurance fraud, right?
He's a private investigator, I feel like.
No, he's an insurance investigator. That's what he does. And it shows him how good he is at his job. He's got this dude who's sweating, fucking says like, hey, your wife's wearing the shit you said burned in your fucking factory and your mistress. And your wife told us a lot more once we showed her the mistress. And the guy's like, God damn, I'm fucked. And then the black dude's like, dude, you're a god at this.
Don't make your wife a partner when you're going to be screwing around with.
No. Don't make your wife a partner when you're trying to fuck with the government. And if you do make your wife a partner, don't screw around on her. Like, really good advice. And then the black guy offers him a job. He was like, hey, we got to go find this Sutter Kane guy. You want to work for me to help me find this Sutter Kane guy? And as that's happening, a crazy man with an axe decides to walk across the street and attack Sam Neill. It was pretty good.
We're forgetting about how the movie opened.
How did the... Oh, it opens with him. Yeah, I always forget.
So the movie opens where what would you call that guy? He'd be the guy in charge, like the warden of the psychiatric.
The ward of the Nurse Ratched, if you will.
So he's talking to somebody, waiting for their patient to come in.
And it's fucking Sam Neill, and he's kicking and screaming and fighting. I'm not crazy.
Man with swollen nuts would beg to differ, you ought to believe.
He kicked that dude square in the balls. It was a good kick. I hope it was.
Sorry about the balls.
It was a lucky shot. I'm not crazy. Notice they put him in cell 9. And then when he stayed in the hotel, it was room number 9. Yeah, little things like that in this movie. I've seen this movie probably 50 times and I'm still noticing things. I love this movie.
That's why I was saying you're going to be explaining a lot of the plot.
Yeah, I love this. I saw this movie when I was a kid. It fucked with me, gave me nightmares, changed the way I look at the world. And I watch it probably once a year. I love this movie. I'm sorry, I'm in a good mood.
So he's in the mental institute at the beginning. Then
a fucking hand comes through the window and he starts screaming.
Like a weird little.
And then the window's not broken. And a guy walks in and he's like, I'm the guy that can get you out of here. All you got to do is tell me the truth. And by now, Sam Neill was completely covered his padded cell in like crayon drawings of crosses, and his fucking skin's all covered.
This is an actual real person.
Yeah,
like he's a cop, pretty much.
Well,
a reporter or something.
No, I think he was a psych like evaluator or something. Because he's like, if you can prove to me you were sane, I'll let you out of here. And he put the tape recorder on, put it on his leg, and listens to Sam Neill explain.
I feel like he was more than that, though, because I feel like he knew all the shit was going on outside the world, and he found out that this guy might be.
Well, Sam Neill kind of goes, "It's all going to shit, isn't it?" And you see the doctor kind of shift in his seat. I think he was a doctor.
That's why I feel like he knew Sam Neill had something to do with it, because he was just trying to find it out.
But he never read Sutter Kane, so how would he know Sam Neill was the main character? Which this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, then it cuts to Sam Neill doing the sweaty guy bust.
Bust. He was kind. I didn't like. He was so.
He was a smug douchebag.
Yeah. What'd you think of him out? Like when you first see him in the mental institute, Andrew, then you see him as his professional self.
I obviously seeing him in his professional self, you're like, something must have like really fucked up happened to make him go insane.
He's like the most,
because he came across as like a normal dude.
Yeah,
and he had like this very obnoxious, like
very confident,
and the way he talked, like the accent and everything was very.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with his accent, but
yeah, he was going from. You said he's Australian, which makes sense because you could hear the certain words he would say. You can hear it.
All right, put it this way:
Ireland. He was born in Ireland.
I was just about to say he's either Australian or Irish because it kept coming through.
Was Jurassic Park 93 or 95?
I think Jurassic Park was earlier. I think it was 90.
No, Jurassic Park was not 90.
I'm pretty sure Jurassic Park was 90. Because Crichton wrote it in the 80s.
93.
93. So this is before Jurassic Park. Told you.
That's weird. His accent was a lot better. Maybe the
Spielberg.
Spielberg was like.
I think Sam Neill and Carpenter were friends. That's why he got into so many of Carpenter's movies. Whereas he probably worked his goddamn. He didn't actually have a lot of lines in Jurassic Park, if you think about it. A lot of his acting was "don't run," you know, whoa, like that.
The beginning, he had a fair amount. Then a lot.
Well, he does the raptor speech, and that's probably his only monologue in the movie.
Yeah, when you have a director controlling your every like.
Well, Spielberg.
Not saying he's a douchebag.
Despite being a pedophile, Spielberg is pretty good at directing. He raped River Phoenix. Let's be honest.
Is he the one that's supposedly do it?
Yeah. There's video of it, supposedly. That's why River got killed, because he was going to expose it. Yeah. Anyway, Carpenter never raped anybody, to my knowledge.
Carpenter's awesome. I love him.
He just wants to make cool metal synth music and horror movies, and I gotta respect it.
You were saying they were trying to get Metallica to do the soundtrack.
The fucking Enter the Sandman was totally supposed to be the opening soundtrack, and I think Carpenter either met Metallica and said "fuck you," or Metallica met Carpenter and said "fuck you." I think it broke down like that.
Well, if we know anything about Metallica, they're assholes.
Yeah,
so
they're assholes.
Fuck Metallica.
Fuck Metallica, bro.
But yeah. So let's speed along with the lawyer stuff.
Yeah. So basically, the publisher of Sutter Kane wants Sam Neill's character to investigate Sutter Kane's disappearance. Now, Sam Neill goes, "This is a fucking bullshit. Because I'm the best. I'm gonna go out and not be able to find him, and then I'll get you for making a fraud."
His whole character trait is he's a skeptic of everything. He doesn't believe anything,
but he believes in reality. The only thing we know is that's reality. Which there's that cool metaphysical philosophical bullshit speech where he's in the car with the girl, where the girl's like, "What if one day you wake up and your sense of reality is now not reality and everyone else disagrees with," like, I don't know.
That was always been one of my biggest fears. Like, imagine if one day you woke up and you're just like, you don't know how something works. So it just like you don't know how a plane flies.
Yeah.
So it just
You
stops
don't.
working.
Thank God I do, because planes would stop working if
Oh God. Anything that's responsible on this earth is because Chris knows how it happens. Spends all his days.
the second I die. Well, that's another thing about reality I often think about is the second I stop existing, all of you do.
You have main character syndrome.
No, but it's the truth, because if I'm not there to observe it, it does not exist, because the only thing I know is what I know. I don't know. Do you see how this movie fucked me up when I was a kid? I love it. So yeah, he gets contracted by the Charlton Heston to go find that damn dirty ape up in New Hampshire. And he gets a sexy woman to go with him.
Yeah, she's the editor of every single book the guy does. What's his name?
Sutter Kane. Did you notice when she's introduced, she's acting like extra slutty with her glasses and stuff like that, and her blouse is really revealing.
Well, it makes sense.
She like bites on her glasses and then tucks it into her cleavage.
Well, think about how she
it
acts.
makes sense in the for the movie, but you're introduced to this character and you're like, what a whore. But you know, that's the way Sutter Kane wrote her.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. So he winds up figuring out, he sits down, he's never read Sutter Kane. He reads all the books in like a night, I think, right? And he's like, there's something about the writing. Maybe it's the way he uses metaphor or description. It's pretty interesting. But at the end of the day, it's just hack horror. It's not real. So then he winds up cutting up the covers of the books, and he figures out there's a map of Hob End in the middle of New Hampshire, but it doesn't exist on any map. We also skipped over the coffee shop scene where a guy attacks him with an axe.
You were getting there, but I interrupted you.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool scene. It was
it ended up being the, what's it called? Agent of
Sutter Kane.
Yeah, and how about his eyes?
Yeah,
his eyes were like double.
They weren't quite two separate pupils. They were like,
well, every character that was under the influence of him
bleed from the eyes,
and his eyes would be like kind of like
and blue.
Yeah,
this weird shade of blue.
They would be like they would have a weird dip in them and go.
Well, it was two pupils like converging, so it was like that. It was like a what is it, Ouroboros almost.
Yeah, so they were being able to see.
They were seeing two realities.
They were seeing the reality and Sutter's reality warping together.
Right.
Imagine this movie like a bigger budget so they could have showed you all
it was
this
only
stuff.
8 million and it only made 8.9. So success.
Profit.
And 0.9 went straight into Carpenter's back pocket.
Went to Sam Neill's pocket. Imagine.
Nah, Sam Neill probably got like 700,000 for this movie, but $94 before the housing bubble and all that shit.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
It was a good movie.
So back to the plot. So the slut and Sam Neill,
the editor and Sam Neill go on the road trip.
They go on a fucking badass road trip. And you see Sam Neill like, who keeps a bike horn in his goddamn glove box? I mean, I get it. It was funny as shit. I thought it was good because he, wakes her up and then pretends.
I think that's more Carpenter humor.
Yeah. But they pass this little boy on a bike and he's got cards in his spokes.
And he looks fucking scared as shit.
And they pass the boy. And then it's later on in the night and the slut's driving.
Well, she was driving both times.
Oh, she was driving.
She passed by.
Right, that's right. She
passed by him and she looks at him and he's in the middle of the lane. He has the card in his
and he looks panicked as fuck.
Then a little bit more down the road, they pass a wicked old looking person.
But he's coming towards them now. And he's got the same cards in his spokes, same bike, same clothes, but now it's a really old fucking man.
So it's like somebody's running away.
So she's like, what the fuck? And like starts looking out her car and they're flying through space and going through a tunnel and she fucking hits him. She hits the dude on the bike and then he gets up or no, he's laying on the ground. And he goes, he won't let me leave. And then he gets on the bike and starts riding away.
And Sam Neill walks by. He's like, oh, is he okay?
And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, whatever.
Dude, first of all, fuck all that. I would fucking leave. I'd be like, fuck this. I'm done.
Well, that's what the girl was saying. She was like, we gotta leave. And he was like, nah, fuck it. This is all bullshit. Because that was his character. This is all bullshit.
Would you have put up more of a panic, Andrew?
I'd probably be relieved that I didn't just kill someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be like, I synced what I synced.
But
I'm
I'd be
leaving.
like, maybe people in this area just all ride the same bike. I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
If I hit a person head on going over 35 miles an hour and they get up and ride away after you saw him on the ground all bloody,
He wasn't bloody.
he was a little bloody, his mouth and everything.
A little bit of blood, but wasn't bloody. I wouldn't call him bloody.
So you want to know a fun fact about the little boy riding the bike?
Fucking Carpenter's kid.
No, Hayden Christensen.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
I didn't notice.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
He went to be the worst.
That was his film debut.
Well, good for him. Good film debut. Sorry
Yeah.
about the rest of your career, but you did pretty good there.
It was Lucas's fault, man.
Yeah, I'll blame. Oh, there we go. Carpenter's a better director than Lucas. We just proved it because Hayden Christensen, as a child actor, did a really good job. Just the "he won't let me leave," but it was an old man with a child's voice. It was so creepy.
So yeah, then they drive and they end up going. He
went-
falls asleep again, and
Yeah.
she ends up going through
like
this weird bridge tunnel.
well, you know what
thing.
a covered. If you live in New England, you know what a covered bridge is.
Hmm.
She winds up going through like this weird teleportation or dimensional rift or something, and she goes through a covered bridge. One side was night, now it's daytime, and she looks behind her, and it's a completely different scenery. In fact, she was driving in a straight line, and when she looks behind her,
It's like a fork in the road.
yeah, and it's like, hold on. I was on a straight fucking line through cornfields. Now I'm in like New England, which, by the way, cornfields in New Hampshire. The fuck?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, there aren't.
cornfields in New Hampshire. It's all mountains and snow. Like what the?
Don't hate on corn.
No, I'm not hating on corn. I'm just saying you can't.
Corn-
No, corn is typically in the Midwest.
Corn is like we got little cornfields in Rhode Island. Fucking New Hampshire's mountains. It's on the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, and it's further north. Like, corn takes like 6 months to grow, and in those 6 months, winter would come and kill it all.
It's part of his story.
No, it's just John Carpenter not knowing a lot about New England, I guess.
Mm.
That's like, dude, cornfields in Maine. You'd
Like
be like,
palm trees in New England.
yeah, exactly. What movie was that?
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, palm trees in New England. Another Carpenter flick.
Mhm.
He honestly just doesn't know what New England is.
In Halloween they literally had to ship
Palm tree,
leaves.
yeah.
No, they
I
were
know.
filmed in cut, so they shipped all the leaves up from New England to make it
So,
look like fall.
so he just doesn't know what New England looks like.
He's just like
He's too busy in his basement writing synthwave.
He's like, well, I didn't notice the palm tree. My bad.
Or he was like, I don't fucking care. Look at this guy with a fucking mask stabbing people. This movie didn't have a guy with a mask stabbing people. This movie had an old lady with an axe. With her fucking husband chained to her ankle.
That was weird as shit.
Yeah, it made you uncomfortable, right?
Mm.
That's this whole movie.
Happy Gilmore's grandmother. How could you?
I know.
But after they get there, they end up going to a little motel.
Mhm.
Nice little motel. Go in there. Nobody, and they're walking through the town before they get to the motel. And they're like,
It's
nobody's
fucking
here.
empty.
And all of a sudden, the lady looks over.
Well, she sees a dog running,
Mhm.
and then she sees a horde of children chasing the dog.
And she even asks him, "Did you see the children?" He's like, "No."
Now this place is deserted.
Yeah.
Then they go to the fucking church.
No, they go to the hotel first, don't they?
Yeah, they go to
Yeah,
the
they go to the hotel first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're in there. They're like, "Nobody's here."
And the painting keeps changing
Yeah, there's a painting
of a man and
opposite
a woman.
of where the desk is. So the woman keeps turning around, and first they're facing forward, then you see him
Then
facing.
they're facing profile. Then they're facing away.
Mm. Then he rings a bell. Old lady comes out. Really nice old lady. She was super pleasant.
But she's like, Kane? I don't know any Kane.
Yeah, she got a little.
Defensive, if you will.
Yeah.
And they get the room. And they go upstairs, and the bitch is like, dude, this is exactly the way it was in the Hob End horror. And Sam Neill's like,
Even as they were walking into the hotel, she's like, "I'm gonna step on a squeaky board."
oh yeah, loose board, this
The
and that,
painting,
the
all that
painting,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Because she read because he sent the early.
Well, she's read every book. No, Hob End Horror was one of the books Sutter Kane previously wrote.
Mm.
So she's in the motel being like, that's the greenhouse where the monster is. That lady kills her husband. The painting's fucked up. There's a hole in the,
And Sam Neill's like, Yeah, but there would be a
coincidence.
church over here with the little onion.
Oh yeah, they go up
tops.
into the room and he's like, all right, if this was really like the book, then outside this window, I should see a church.
She's like, but it was facing south.
And she goes, you obviously didn't read well enough because it was actually the east. And they open up
Was
the
it east?
window
Right.
and there's the fucking church.
And that's where he's like,
So he goes to the church, and as he's reading the description in the book, that's what you're seeing happen, like the mosaic of Jesus, the black spires, the explanation that
Saint Michael fighting the demon.
that this church, there was a stone church there, but then this black church swallowed it. And they say that there's still remnants of the old church in there, but whatever evil old world gods like just fucking swallowed it. And then what, guys with guns show up?
Yeah, they're investigating it. Nobody's opening the door.
Yeah,
so
they're
they
banging
can't
on the
come
door,
in.
and then fucking
And all of a sudden they turn and just a bunch of cars just fucking flying, and then they get out and they have guns and everything.
and she's like, we got to get out of here. And he's like, I agree. And the fucking Kurgan from Highlander shows up, and he's like, Johnny boy, give me back my boy, Kane.
And the doors open. It's a little cane as the doors keep going. Where?
Yeah, it's the kid, it's Sutter Kane, and then Dobermans attack the horde.
A lot of Dobermans.
Yeah, if it was just 3, I'd be like, shoot him.
Are Dobermans always hellhounds?
That goes from the Omen, I think. Right? Because when the guy's climbing over the fence and he gets the fucking spike through his ankle, and then the dogs rip his face off.
I haven't seen that movie forever.
That's another one of my favorite. Because again, it's not just a slasher flick; it's a fucking psychological horror. I hate slashers, man.
They're fun.
Not excited for Terrifier 2. I just don't care. It's a guy in a clown costume stabbing people. Ooh. This is about a fucking dude replacing God and changing reality.
All right, we'll get to that later.
This is way scarier.
So they get the fuck out of there and head back to the hotel, right?
And she's acting weird. She's like trying to kiss him and stuff.
Because he was about ready to leave, and she's like, no, you gotta stay. Kissing him, being like, no.
Steals the keys. And then runs out of the hotel while he's yelling at the old lady.
Yeah, because he's about ready to leave. He runs down there. He's probably trying to check out or something and say he's leaving. Then all of a sudden you see her run by, the car takes off.
And he's like, God damn it.
Wait, what did he say about the old lady?
Oh, you look like you haven't slept in a while.
No, when he was like, where is this bitch or something?
Oh, yeah. Old bitch, as he's ringing the fucking bell.
Wasn't that later on?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
later on.
But
Was it?
That's-
When he goes down in the basement.
yeah, and he sees her hack it where she's got all the snake tentacles and shit, and she's hacking the husband to death. By the way, she's not doing a good job of killing her husband. She's just hitting him in the back with the axe while he screams in pain. Like, you could have just hit him in the head.
I just think she's trying to.
Yeah,
Just
scare
hack.
the shit out of Sam Neill. Yeah.
Now, did he see his little girl, not girlfriend, with the tentacles as he was leaving?
No, she leaves. She goes to the church, right?
Oh, then she comes back.
Do you know what happens while she's at the church?
What happens, Chris?
Fucking Sutter Kane shows up, and he's just in like a weird flesh room in the back of the church with this weird oozing wooden door that's breathing slowly, and he's just typing away at a typewriter, just being like, I'm God now, I guess. Read my book. And then he just fucking puts her face in the page, and a white light shoots into her eyes, and she comes up, and she's got the fucking weird pupils, and she's bleeding from the eyes, and she gets it. She's now part of him. And then it cuts to Herb just busting into the hotel room, right? And just being like, I'm losing myself. Help me, Sam. I'm losing, or not Sam, but Trent.
I feel like that was her last grip with
Reality. Yeah. Then Sam Neill gets thrown out of the room.
Yeah, he tries to like, what happened where she like did something weird, and he's just like, fuck this. Then the next
Well, no,
scene
she
him
keeps
getting-
trying to fuck him, and he's not into it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he ends up just getting thrown out of the room.
And then you see the tentacles under the door, and there she is.
Dude, fuck that. At that point, I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're dead to me. I'm leaving.
So he fucking runs downstairs. No one's in the fucking lobby. So he hears screaming, right? Or am I skipping ahead, Andrew?
No, I think this is the part where
He hears screaming, and he finds the old lady hacking her husband to death. And then he looks in the greenhouse, and there was the monster with arms that looked like snakes or whatever.
and
Then he starts to leave, and then that's where he gets stuck in that loop, and he
Yeah, he
can't
goes
leave.
to town and he just sees the town folk killing each other.
Yeah, but he goes to get the girl first and puts her in the car because she was there, right?
We forget about the scene where he goes to the bar by himself.
Oh.
And he's drinking, and Johnny Boy's dad walks in, and he's like, so what? Special effects, lighting, hidden speakers. You're an actor, right? And the guy's like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
They took my boy.
At first
He
they
did
came
this to me.
First they came for the children. Then they started taking the weaker minded folk. You need to get out of here.
He shows him like a fucking slice on his face as a kid did to him.
Well, that's when he kills himself. That's later. That's
later?
the second time he goes to the bar.
Mm.
So yeah, he winds up freaking out, obviously. He runs back to the bar for some reason. And he goes to the bar, and the bar's all fucked up. And the Kurgan's sitting in the corner with like a giant hole missing in his face. And fucking, he's got a gun. And he's like, oh no, that was after Sam Neill went to the church. Because remember, he gets teleported, and that's when fucking Sutter Kane is like, I can't hold them back anymore, and fucking rips open the hole in the dimension. He's like, I need you to deliver this. Right? Am I right?
I thought he did the whole try to run away thing first. And
No.
The first time he went to the bar was because he had no car. He was just walking around town.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he ends up crashing.
And the second,
gets into the confession booth.
You're right. The confession booth happens after the loop. You guys are right. Yeah. This movie's confusing. It's not really confusing. It's pretty straightforward, but it's hard to put the pieces together because the movie repeats itself a bunch of times,
Yeah.
but in a good way. Because you see the same scene multiple times in a row and you're trying to find the small differences.
And I also drank a lot during this movie, so it's
Yeah.
a little. This movie is a little tense.
Did you notice the first time he pulled away from the mob, he went to the right. And then the second time, he just went straight back. And then the third time, he went to the left. And that's the one that led him. So that means Sutter Kane was sitting at his typewriter and going, he pulled away to the right. He got to the corner. Nah, fuck that. He went straight backwards. You know, like, because he's writing reality at this point.
But yeah, as he's trying to drive away from them, it's just a mob of people with like axes and like machetes and stuff.
Just, you know, your basic angry mob, torches and pitchforks.
And at this point, the girl's there. And
yeah, the fourth time he decides to gun it through the crowd.
Yeah, but before that, she tried to swallow the keys and everything. He's like, no. Fuck.
That reaction was amazing. She puts the keys in her mouth and he just goes, Jesus, and like tries to reach into her mouth and pull them out.
And she gets hit out of the car, starts with a screwdriver.
He's the kid making a phone call at the payphone. And then Sutter Kane fucks with him again. And then he just wakes up in the street holding the manuscript. That little boy on the bike rolls up and goes, hey, mister, were you in an accident? And he just looks at him like, yeah. You know?
No, you're forgetting about the whole confession scene, though, where he pretty much tells him, I'm writing your life. You don't really exist. You exist because of me.
Yeah, I wrote you.
And he's like, I know my reality. I know what's going on.
Yeah. I do like how Sutter Kane is like a lot of characters in this movie are like, this is the way I was written. You know, and it's like, fuck. Shit.
How would you guys react if somebody told you you only exist because I wrote you like this? And that's why, well, I'll get to.
I'd say knew it.
I'd say, did you write this? Then pick up a knife and stab him.
Then what if he went, yup, and then he wasn't stabbed? It's like, damn it.
Even better. Ow, yeah, I did. Why did I write that?
Hold on. And he like runs away, and then the whole situation repeats.
Why'd you make me fat?
Cancer twice, really? Well,
why that drama?
I don't know, man. I was drunk.
This movie's fucked.
This movie's fun when you start to really think about what it's about. The idea that like you think you have control. You don't. You know what I mean? Like anything can change at any point in time in ways you cannot comprehend.
What makes you think? Like, do we really have free will?
No.
Do you have free will, Andrew?
Yes, I do.
You think you have free will, but it's all sensory input. It's, you know what I mean?
And they actually, made a point of that in the movie. Sam Neill was like, you have enough people reading this book, so you have the crazy mindset of everybody having that same thought going on. So that's why the chaos goes on, because everybody is just fucking feeding off each other.
Well, they do that whole thing like the Bible is, he straight up says, I outsold the Bible. The Bible's the best-selling book in the world.
It sounds like any book would out.
Nothing can outsell the Bible, straight up.
So something that would do that is fucking scary.
So people believe in it more than the Bible, and through their belief, they open the door to the old gods.
And that's also something fucking horrifying. Imagine if a large amount of people believed in something so much it became reality.
Yeah, they're called the Democrats.
Oh, actually, Chris, you're wrong. Harry
Come
Potter has
on.
outsold the Bible.
Come on. There it is. No,
No, seriously though.
it's you've never read Lovecraft, right?
I have listened to
Like,
some
have
of it.
either of you ever listened to or read any H.P. Lovecraft?
I listened to a lot of Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon is just an omnibus of all his books. Which is fine, you know, rats in the walls and all that jazz. No, that's Poe. But yeah, this is probably the best Lovecraft movie ever made. Like, Dunwich is pretty good, but it's not like the book at all, actually. I mean, Wilbur Wheatley is like some attractive man.
First of all, Reanimator.
Reanimator is a good Lovecraft movie, yeah, but it doesn't have the same like.
It's more comedic. It doesn't have like.
Well, Reanimator is a basic horror flick. Like, this guy's bringing things back to death. This movie's discussing like the idea of like God and reality. It's fucking. That's the good H.P. Lovecraft, when he starts challenging your perception of reality.
Although the Reanimator stuff that he wrote was
Fun.
way more in
Yeah,
like than what the movie was. Not saying I love that movie, but
me too.
they knew what they were doing with that movie.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it needs to be. But back to this movie. I mean, we can just sit here and tell you the plot, but as you can see, we're not doing a very good job. So
Let's just break it down to.
favorite scene.
Well, I know your favorite scene. You like the bus scene.
I love the bus scene.
Fuck you. I'm gonna finish the plot very fast. So basically, let's get to your bus scene. So this is after he was in the confession booth. He gets all that happens. He gets handed the book. He's like, "You're the one that gives this to the world."
Because I wrote you that way.
He's like, "I'm not gonna do that." He's like, "No, you don't have
You
a
are.
choice."
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You're gonna do what I say because I wrote it that way.
So he goes on the bus and he falls asleep. And originally he's sitting next to a nice old lady.
Who's telling him about the bodies stacked in the streets during the Great Depression in the Bowery district of New York. And he passes out, and then he wakes up, and Sutter Kane's sitting next to him. And Sutter Kane goes, and he's just like, Jesus. And he's like, I'm not doing what you say. This isn't real. And Sutter Kane goes, no, it's real. Did I ever tell you my favorite color was blue? And then Sam Neill wakes up, and everything is blue. Everything has a weird blue tint to it.
I think at that point, that might break my brain.
I think that's the point that broke his brain.
Yeah.
Because he just starts screaming, and then he wakes up again, and it's all real, or regular, I should say. And he's pouring sweat, and he's like,
And the old lady next to him was like, "It was just a bad dream."
it's like, nah.
So fast forward a little bit. He's in the editor's office.
And he's trying to explain to Charlton Heston the situation, and Charlton
He's
Heston
like,
is
all
like,
right, so I sent you with this imaginary woman.
yeah, it turns out he never went with Styles. She never existed. And then you see Sam Neill go, oh God, he wrote her out of the book. You know, like realizing like.
Then Charlton Heston's like, you gave me this book like 3 months ago.
Yeah, in the spring. And then he's like, did you ever read any Sutter Kane? And he's like, no, I don't have a stomach for it. That's why he's not affected by it. Or is he? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
It's just the way he's written.
Right?
But then he's like, they did a great job of being like, not everybody reads. And he's like, yes, but they're making a movie.
Right. And that's the little.
And that's like the little tee off where everybody just, the world just fucking
falls apart. They turn into, what do they call them? Murder mobs.
So it flashes forward back to him in the mental institute.
And the doctor is ending the session. And Sam Neill's like, you believe me, right? And he's like, I don't. and walks out of the room. And the orderly's like, did he give you anything? He said nothing. He just ranted about Sutter Kane. And then the orderly goes, do you read Sutter Kane? And you see the doctor pause, because everything that Sam Neill said in that cell was confirmed by the orderly being like, do you read Sutter Kane? You know, and you see the doctor stop and go, shit, get the fuck out of there.
And then a bunch of weird shit starts
Then
happening.
it's nighttime and Sam Neill's sitting in a cell and all you can hear is monsters and screaming, and then it all stops suddenly.
And he's able to open his door and there's like gashes
Blood.
on the door.
But there are no bodies, just blood everywhere, no bodies. Which is creepy in its own way if you think about it. Because where'd all the blood come from if there's no bodies? What the fuck? And like his slow walk through to the movie theater has this radio broadcast basically saying like the Americans West Coast fell this morning, the East Coast fell last night.
So it's probably where the premiere of the movie happened.
Every European city, we don't have contact with anyone. If you're hearing this, don't trust anyone, barricade yourself and just wait it out, because this is the end. And Sam Neill walks into the movie theater to watch The Mouth of Madness with his big fucking bucket of popcorn, and the movie starts where the movie starts, and he's just watching
everything that happened
to him in movie form and laughing maniacally, and then the movie ends.
What the fuck else would you do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
you brought about the end of the world and they made a movie about you
unknowingly.
Yeah,
he tried his best. He burned the book. He did everything he could, but it's like,
Sutter Kane, no, this is the way I
he
wrote.
wrote you doing this, so he wouldn't do it. He stopped his own demise.
I was written this way. Like, whoa. Pretty high concept, pretty cool. What do you think, Andrew?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Now, what do you guys think of the prosthetics?
Awesome. Paul Verhoeven's awesome.
I miss like the practical sets, like that fucking bridge. How cool did that look?
It looked like a subway car at first, and then you slowly realize it's just a covered bridge.
Didn't it look like a weird spaceship in the future?
I think when she looked out the window and saw the thunder.
I thought some of the monsters, even though they were well done, I thought some of them looked a little cheesy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
94.
94, yeah. No, I'll agree with that. Like the pig cop thing, that didn't look too good. The hallway running scene is like 50% good. Like it's a really good idea, but the CGI hallway looks pretty shitty. Sam Neill doesn't really sell the running.
Yeah.
And some of the camera shots of the monsters, like the one of the teeth inside the mouth where it's kind of like breathing in and out, that looked really cool.
Well, the best thing about that is you said, watching it, I thought it was all miniatures that they were puppeteering.
Prosthetics.
But you said it was just
one big thing that like five.
We didn't even talk about it. He's running down a hallway and chased by.
After Sutter Kane rips open reality and the bitch is reading Sam, like as Sam Neill's doing it, she's reading it. It's so fucking creepy.
But they're running away, and that's fucking crazy. That thing must have been like fucking.
It was like 15 feet. It was like wide and tall, and it took like 6 or 7 guys to puppet it.
He did a lot of the old movies back in the day did a lot of close-ups of the monsters, so you didn't see all the imperfections and everything.
They zoomed in on the good parts.
It's always super wet, always super slimy.
But that's Lovecraft.
Yeah.
A weird wet monster coming out of a dark hole.
But it makes it look more organic.
Good, yeah. I don't know, Andrew, what was your favorite scene?
You hated them.
Probably the bus scene also. I was thinking, I don't know. I kind of liked the whole reveal of the church too, and then them walking up to the church. I thought that was
pretty good.
Pretty cool. I mean, obviously, like I was saying to you before we started the review, it was pretty obvious the church was superimposed. They weren't actually there until they were actually walking up to it. But no, I kind of like the reveal of it because that's an actual real church.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I was looking it up. It's Greek Catholic, which I guess is different than Roman Catholic.
different than
So-
Greek orthodoxy, I guess, too. Yeah, this whole
Yeah.
movie was filmed in Canada. Like
Really?
the insane asylum is a
This was all in Canada?
Yep. The insane asylum is a water treatment plant outside of Toronto. The church is outside of Toronto.
Hmm.
The main square, the New England town, outside of Toronto. You know? Because it's
Cool.
cheaper to film in Canada. Or it used to be.
Probably still is.
No. That's why everything's filmed in Atlanta now.
Hmm.
But then Atlanta did its whole like, we want to be woke. So we're gonna drive the prices up. So everyone like Adult Swim's like, well, fuck, you know, like what do we do now? Can't film in Canada, can't film. So that's why Zach Krager filmed in Romania. It's mad fucking cheap. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Barbarian. I'm gonna watch it.
It was wicked good.
But this movie is better. Different kinds of horror.
They both fuck with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we can end this review by saying Chris likes movies that fuck with your brain. Chad likes movies where muscular men stab women.
I like what?
Isn't that what Friday the 13th is? A muscular guy stabbing women?
They said men too.
Yeah, but I mean, you stab men. Bang.
What'd you think of his soundtrack?
It's John Carpenter. It's good.
That beginning song. That's
It's just John Carpenter. You know, it's gonna be cheesy. It's gonna be
He
fun.
probably has so much fun just watching the movie back with everything.
Oh, I guarantee he watches movies with like a Casio keyboard and just scores the movie himself. If I was talented enough, that's exactly what I would do. I hate this song and just start playing my own song for the scene.
But yeah, I feel like this is a good Halloween movie.
It's one of my, like I said, it's in my top 5 of all time greatest horror movies.
Oh.
This, The Thing, Brokeback Mountain.
Would you recommend this movie, Andrew?
Yes, I would.
100%.
Hmm.
I think it's my favorite John Carpenter. I mean, Halloween's really good, but this was awesome. Maybe. Would you recommend this?
I don't know. It's no Ghosts of Mars.